What was once built for the PGA Tour is now an elite private golf course. Today we're going to be looking at Crow Valley Golf Club in Davenport, Iowa. My name is Ty Fears, and we created the Golf Atlas to find which courses are worth your time and which are not. We believe that every course has a story, and now is the best time to find the next one. So this is a Golf Atlas review. Crow Valley is a private golf course located in Davenport, Iowa. It's one of two private golf courses in Davenport, the other one being the kind of famous Davenport Country Club. And I actually played Crow once in high school. Kind of my naive self at the time thought that it was like the greatest, most nicest golf course that I had ever played. I was actually recently asked if maybe there's a rivalry between the two country clubs, Crow and Davenport Country Club. And I kind of got stumped by the question a little bit. And to be honest, I answered the question by saying that I did think that there was probably a rivalry there. And in doing the research for this, I've actually kind of realized that there probably isn't a rivalry at all. And that's mainly because Davenport Country Club actually had such a crucial involvement in the creation of Crow Valley. Crow Valley wouldn't necessarily exist without Davenport Country Club, or at least without the help of Davenport Country Club. Crow Valley Golf Club was founded in 1969 by a group called the Crow Creek 34. It was a group of 34 businessmen, most of whom worked for Deere & Company, and actually a lot of them were members at Davenport Country Club, which is why I said there's really probably not any rivalry there. The biggest thing that the 34 wanted was they wanted modern amenities from a golf course, things like modern irrigation so that the fairways and greens and rough could be more lush, more green. This was things that at the time Davenport didn't have. They wanted a course that was closer to Davenport and Bettendorf. Fun fact for you guys, Davenport Country Club is actually very far from the city of Davenport. The Crow Creek 34 really wanted a course that was closer to town and could easily be more, accessible. They definitely succeeded in being closer to town. And then the final thing that they wanted was they wanted the PGA Tour. This time period for the Quad Cities actually saw quite a boom in golf courses. There was two very nice private golf courses built on the Illinois side of the river. And not just the golf courses themselves were booming, but golf in the Quad Cities was becoming a very growing and popular thing. And this kind of brings us back to 1961, when the pro at Emi's golf course, which is also located in Davenport, Bob Fry, convinced Arnold Palmer and Gary Player to play an exhibition match at the golf course. And in doing this, he kind of finally opened the door to the PGA Tour possibly being able to come to the Quad Cities. But the Quad Cities really needed a championship golf course so that they could host such an event. And it kind of ended up being perfect timing for Crow Valley. So in 1971, the PGA Tour hosted the inaugural Quad City Open at Crow Valley. And the Quad City Open is actually still a tournament on the PGA Tour, but it is now known as the John Deere Classic. Crow Valley only hosted the tournament for the first 4 years though, and then they moved to the Pete Dye designed Oakwood Country Club, and since 2000 they have played the John Deere Classic at TPC Deere Run. But without Crow Valley, you can very much argue that we wouldn't have a John Deere Classic. How's it going, everybody? Future Ty here, actually. I totally forgot about this factoid about Crow Valley. It wasn't actually until a friend of the Golf Atlas commented on our Crow Valley Instagram post that kind of totally reminded me of this interesting factoid. But Crow Valley was actually the first head professional job of Butch Harmon. And if you aren't aware of Butch Harmon, Butch Harmon's the guy that gives lessons to Tiger, Rory McIlroy. There's probably countless other names who he gives lessons to, Tiger and Rory being the two most famous. But yeah, kind of an interesting factoid that I totally forgot about. I'm not entirely sure how long he was there for, but it was his first head professional job. But yeah, just kind of pretty cool that, Butch Harmon started out at Crow Valley, and obviously he became famous due to Tiger Woods, but he's one of the best head golf professionals and golf coaches of all time.
and still is one of the best coaches in the world right now. So pretty cool that he got started at Crow Valley. You know, you could make the argument, it's a pretty wild argument, but you can make the argument that maybe without Crow Valley, we would have no Butch Harmon. And you can make the argument that with no Butch Harmon, we'd have no, like, 2001 Tiger Woods, you know? Crow Valley is responsible for the Tiger Slam, you could argue. I'm not saying that's true. That's not true at all. We'll send it back to past Ty, and we'll explain a little bit more about the golf course.
All right, so now let's talk about my experience. Back to the conditions like I was talking about. I would say that Crow's conditions are probably exactly what you would expect for like a country club. They're country club conditions. They're obviously significantly better than probably your local municipal golf course or your local public golf course, but they're not as exceptional as like a super high-end PGA Tour level golf course. Crow Valley kind of sits in that in-between, right? It's a super nice, super high quality golf course, but it's nothing too exceptional. So I like to call that country club level conditions. That's kind of a condition that you typically see at a nicer country club. It's a condition that you expect to see at a country club, and they definitely didn't disappoint with that. They also didn't blow it away either. So they kind of sit right where they need to be. There was actually renovations done just this year in 2026, done to the bunkers and the greens. I don't exactly know the full extent of that. Having said that, the greens and bunkers were in exceptional shape for having just been renovated. So props to them for keeping that up. Seems like they've been doing a lot of work to them. Something interesting about the course, there's no tee times, which I've never played a course with no tee times. I've heard of some that do it, but it was really, really nice. That was actually something that the Crow Creek 34 really wanted. They kind of hated the idea of the super structured planning part of Davenport Country Club, which, you know, you had to make a reservation and then you go tee off on your tee time. They just didn't like being so constricted by that. So they said, no tee times. You show up, you play golf whenever you can. If you have to get in line, you have to get in line. But I really enjoyed it. I've never played a course like that. And I think that more private golf courses should do something just like this. It was super nice, super freeing. I went over to the practice facility, which also very, very nice. And I was kind of standing there like, you know, I could hit balls for 3 hours. I could hit balls for 10 minutes. I can go putt for 3 hours. I can go putt for 15 minutes. Doesn't matter. I can tee off whenever I want. And there was a super freeing experience about it. Another weird thing, I'm gonna very briefly touch on this because it's not a big deal. The cart paths kind of threw me off. Typically on golf courses, you'll see cart paths that are either they'll split. So like you'll drive up, the cart path will end near the fairway. You drive up the fairway and then you meet the cart path again around the green. Or you have option B, which is there's cart path along the entire golf course. But Crow kind of did like a hybrid of it, and it really was kind of confusing a little bit, especially on the first hole. The cart path ends right by the tee box, and then it doesn't pick up till the second green. For the most part, it was split cart paths, but there was some holes, like holes 8 and 9 had the full complete cart path. So I don't know, it was weird. They had like a hybrid thing going on. It's not that big of a deal. It was just something I observed. So Crow Valley is called Crow Valley because it's basically the valley of the Crow Creek. I'll show a picture, but there's essentially 3 different sections of this golf course. Section 1 is holes 1, 2, 8, 9, 10, and 11. That's labeled in red. The teal is Crow Creek itself on the screen. And you kind of play those holes on that one side of the valley, and then hole 3 is a par 3 where you actually hit over the creek to the other side of the valley. And then holes 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 are kind of on that opposite side of the valley. So creek in the middle, section 1, section 2, which is labeled in blue, teal, creek. And then after you finish you play hole 7, you come back to that other side of the valley, and then you basically come to the 3rd section, which essentially is just an uphill portion of the same valley, and most of the back 9 is back there. But it was kind of interesting how there's three, I would say, fairly distinct sections of the golf course to play, which made it a lot of fun. I'd also like to talk about, this course was house lined, which I've talked about before, but typically house lined golf courses kind of make me feel disconnected a little bit with the golf course. If you go walk a golf course, you feel fairly close with nature, right? You're outside just enjoying the day, and you can feel really connected with the golf course. And I often find that courses that are house lined typically make me feel kind of disconnected from the golf courses, or at least disconnected from nature. But one thing I will say that Crow Valley did that I was surprised by is it is very house lined, but I never really felt that disconnect that I often feel. I think it had to do with a lot of the scaling of the course, especially with just how the contours of the fairways work, and then also with the trees. So you still feel connected to the course while also it being house lined. All right, finally, let's get into the review part of the video. The conditions were right where they needed to be, really, but nothing too exceptional, but not bad at all. I mean, they were really good conditions, very country club level conditions. So they were perfect, right where they needed to be. When I think about design, it's definitely a professional type of design, but it's kind of similar to the conditions. It's not anything that's gonna absolutely blow you away, but it's also not anything that's gonna let you down. It's really kind of a cool course in terms of, it's one of those courses that I could see myself playing every single day and not getting bored, but it's also not a course that you're gonna show up and just be absolutely wowed by when you play it. I really debated how to score this. I had a few different, I kind of had an area in my mind, but I didn't exactly know where to put it. But kind of after all this, we are going to score Crow Valley Golf Club in Davenport, Iowa, a 7.9 out of 10. So that would factor into our Eagle category of the Golf Atlas scale, which is an excellent score and great golf course. I really thought about giving it an 8, but I just feel like it lacks that wow factor to it. Like I've been saying, it just kind of, it hits all the marks that you need it to hit, but it doesn't really hit anything extra. And that's totally fine. 7.9 is an excellent golf course, excellent score. I'm not trying to bash it at all, but I will say it was very close to getting in the 8s. I thought about it a lot, but ended up, after thinking about it quite a bit, we're gonna score it a 7.9. So yeah, great golf course. If you guys are ever in the area and you get the chance to play, it is private, but if you are able to play it, I highly recommend it. Very fun, very cool experience, and sick logo too. Like, don't want to forget about the logo because it's sick. Hope you guys enjoyed another Golf Atlas review. If you want to see more reviews or other content, please subscribe to the Golf Atlas. If you have any courses that you'd like to see us go review, leave it in the comment section or DM me on our Instagram page. But I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and always remember that every course has a story and it's time to find the next one. Thank you guys.